Good evening. I'm coming to speak to you on why do we think in our society that pastors should live poor. From my personal experience, I have pastors as parents. I know a lot of pastors on a personal level, and I've seen the hard work, heart, and dedication that goes into pastoring. I know that I've heard that pastors shouldn't drive luxurious cars or what are they doing with the money. But in reality, we have to ask money at Walmart. Do we ask Mr. Walmart what he's doing with our money when we purchase or when we go to the salon to get our hair done or haircut? Do we ask our barber or our hair stylist what they're doing with their money? 9 times out of 10, we don't matter. I personally feel like if you go to the church and the lights come on and the water runs and everything is where it's supposed to be, if the bills are getting paid, what the pastor does with the money after that, I'm not sure why that matters. Do we even know how much a pastor makes averagely a year in the United States? What their pay is, what it has changed from? The Economics of Ministry, what pastors get paid by C. Kirk Hathaway and Penny Longmuller from the Christian Century Journal 2019, say in 1890, clergy and pastors made 3 times the amount of school teachers. Skip up 100 years, and by the time 1990 came around, pastors only made 2/3 of what a school teacher made. The average pastor makes a salary of $50,800 a year. Keep in mind, these salaries averages in the higher paid T.D. Jakes, Joel Osteen's, Joyce Meyer's pastors. And with that, 51% of clergy have a master's or a doctoral degree. So that's like asking your doctor to live off of $50,000 a year. If you had a doctorate degree, would you set the job paying $50,000 a year or offering here and there? I highly doubt it. Warren Baird, with a PhD in Leadership Journal, says that the churches of today have unrealistic expectations for pastors. I happen to agree. You want a full-time pastor with full-time pastor benefits, but you don't want to pay them or don't want them to make very much. The average church can't pay the pastor's salary and the church bills, the pastor's bills. The church has bills, electricity, water. They don't get those for free on donation because they're churches. They have to pay, whatever the energy company for each state. The AEP is in Ohio. So AEP, Columbia Gas, and City of Columbus Water, they all want their money for the utilities that are being used at the church, as well as the pastor has to make sure all of those bills are paid. I don't think we quite consider what goes into being a pastor. The Bible says in Matthew 10:7 for the King James Version that a laborer is worthy of his hire. So it means whatever you work for, you should get paid for it. I think we look at the mega churches, the Potter's houses, and we say, well, those pastors drive such and such cars and they live a certain lifestyle. But in reality, mega churches only make up 0.5% of the 320,000 churches, Protestant churches in the United States. So there's only about 1,750 mega churches. That's a really small scale across the United States. Also, when you look at mega church pastors like T.D. Jakes, like Joel Osteen, like Joyce Meyers, not only are they pastors, but they're authors. They have #1 sellers, books. T.D. Jakes, he's also an artist, so he has CDs that are albums that he comes out with. So it's not only he's living off of the money of the church, he's also a speaker and he's a public speaker, so he gets paid for speaking engagements as well. I think all in all, you have to look at what it takes to be a pastor. The late nights, the phone calls, the move-in people, the helping pay bills, the pantries. When you look at all of that, it takes, and the amount of schooling it goes into, and the training, and the time and effort, and away from their families, I think if you look back, pastors are underpaid. I don't understand why we care what the pastor drives. If the neighborhood drug dealer has 20s on his truck, nobody questions it. But if my pastor drives a Cadillac, that's a problem. Maybe we need to rethink some things.